with Zach, right? Oh, are you on your shirt now? Like,
Take off your shirt, Zach.
sure.
You want me to do a shirtless con?
Does anyone have any complaints?
I mean, I'm happy.
Swing that way.
Anyone got like a hot knife that I can cauterize myself with?
I would hope not. Okay, you know, I was watching that, I was asking Luisa, you didn't really have many scenes besides Space Crew with, like, Rowan? Did you have any scenes with Rowan?
Well, I put a knife to her and I called her a really bad name.
You did?
Yeah, right. I forgot about that.
Yeah, I was like, why all of a sudden? I feel like all of a sudden Rose was like,
What was that?
Where, what?
it's in the microwave room, I think.
Like a microwave.
I didn't like that room and all that shit.
Man, I gotta rewatch that. Just even watching this, I was like, wow. I need to do the whole show again.
Apparently we're going to do a rewatch podcast.
Yes, yes.
We'll have you guys on as guests to talk about the episodes.
Yes. Perfect.
That's probably good. 'Cause,
Yes, since y'all haven't watched it in a while.
Yeah.
And Tots, I mean, one of the things I love is when Space Crew, the Grounders in Space, the whole spin-off we should have, the relationship you two developed, because it's not like you were friends on the ground.
No.
Like,
New.
talk us through like developing that relationship on screen for everybody.
I mean, it was awesome because we were both our characters were in such a position of shifting already, I think. Right, would you say?
Yeah, I mean, definitely what we realized was that like the two of us, like we were definitely the outskirts, like we were the ones, like we're the others, you know, and unbeknownst to both of us, you would become the tech savvy person. Yes. And Echo would just be like, I'll protect you. I don't know anything about technology, but it was really nice because you would imagine, you know, both of our characters, I think, had like very solo journeys where they felt very much alone. And so when they were put in the context of being with, you know, people from Space Crew, that these two would bond because they really knew what it was like to be on the ground alone. So.
And especially two characters that would have very much been enemies to some degree in the old world. But it's amazing. I thought that was so cool. Like the old world doesn't exist. You learn pretty quick what you're actually tied to in real life and what's just part of, you're acting that way because the world is sort of putting that on you.
Right. Okay, what would have Rowan in space, what would that look like?
I don't know, I think he would have refused to go. But if he did go, yeah, I mean, I think he probably would have been really confused. I mean, he's a very adaptable person, so he probably would have tried to like adapt to whatever the scenario was, but he probably would have really hated the food. It didn't look so good.
I see Rowan like with like a sword, and like if like an alarm went off, you'd be like, like trying to like fight the microwave and stuff.
Like a light starts blinking.
On brand, yes. Very on edge. Well, Echo and Rowan have a ton of fight scenes, but I was hoping, like, don't you think Amori, like, you had some.
I had awesome moments.
Yes.
I had that in Becca's mansion, the fight with the Bayless fight, which was intense. Like the fight scenes. You guys did more, I think, than I did, for sure. But
For sure.
but they make it work.
Did you enjoy it?
Oh, I loved it.
Have you had a lot of physicality in those kind of scenes in other shows before?
Not really on other shows, but I had done some training earlier on in just my career because I was like, I want this to happen. I want to be ready when it happens. So I did a bunch of Krav Maga for a while, which is hardcore. Do you know what? Have you done it? That's what we're doing.
I'm going for my brown belt next week.
Good for you. Destiny with the brown belt. Krav Maga is crazy combat training, and it was so wild. Like I gave myself a black eye one time because I was holding what's called a tombstone pad, and yep, exactly.
Right in your face.
Yeah, right in my face.
Wow. Zach, did you do almost all of your own stunts on the 100?
Yeah, there's like 2 times I think they actually used clay to double me. Rest in peace, he's a really good guy. Clay doubled me once jumping from basically, we did a bunch of different stuff with the jumping from the truck to the rover on the truck. And there was a couple different ways we did it, and Clay did it in one of them where they wouldn't let me do it. And then once you let Clay,
The
Clay-
water, was it the one you, in the conclave?
no, it was actually it was in fucking February one. Sorry for the person. Daddy has probably done, sorry. I'll put 5 in the square jar, sorry. Yeah, one time, but yeah, most of them.
Random question for you, Toss. Where was Echo, remind me, during, when Rowan was fighting Lexa? Were you there?
Obviously.
But, like, were you physically in the scene? I don't remember.
I was not physically in the
Okay.
scene, but you know, I had some binoculars out and I was like, let's just make sure he's okay.
Right. But what do you think Echo's response to the ice cream being killed?
I think it was like cathartic in a lot of ways. I think like she didn't realize, I don't think she like realized entirely like what was her, like it was a complicated relationship, you know, and I think as she grew, she realized that it was an unhealthy one.
Yeah. For sure.
I mean, he got banished, I got banished.
So much banished. So much banished.
You're banished!
Yeah, Amori was banished for her life.
Yeah, day one.
Day one.
Banished too?
Yeah.
Is this the banished house?
We were all
Banished grounders.
Banished grounders.
Oh. Well, hey, you know what? There's three of them here. If y'all want to line up and ask some questions, the floor is yours. Oh wait, sorry, Tari. Yes.
What did Echo think of Antari?
What did Echo think of Antari?
That is a really good question. I think that she probably like respected her, you know? Yeah, like I think that there might have been, I think Echo would have, like she's a night blood, so Echo would never have been able to be in Antari's position, but she probably like looked at her and had like maybe some envy or jealousy because Antari is a part of Asgada and a part of something, and Echo's just a servant of them. But I think Echo probably was like, she is ruthless. And I think like, you know, so they probably recognized something in each other, I would imagine, yeah.
Did you keep in touch with any cast members after the show ended?
Well, here we are. Yeah, I mean, you know, the way if you work, I just imagine you guys all have a job or school or whatever. And this is our job, and you know, we keep in touch and our friends, and you know, we're lucky enough that on this show we get to see each other at conventions all the time, which is really cool too.
Yeah, but like I was saying to Joe and like a couple of you guys, like I think the 100 has like a really special connection, like because we've all been on other shows and we've been on lots of shows, but like the way that we stay connected is like really beautiful, and it's really special for this cast and this show specifically. It's one of the greatest gifts actually ever.
And
Yeah.
a lot of you in Vancouver, so you probably see each other actually more often.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And a lot of them come to LA a lot because they're actors. You know, say what's up.
Say what's up?
Thank you.
Hello. Krav Maga is very tough. I did some training in Israel. I actually did some Krav Maga myself. It is very
Amazing.
hard. My question is, so hypothetically, the show is getting rebooted. Who do you three choose to play your character in the show? Goofy answers only. Yeah, like,
Can I cast myself again?
no.
We all just choose ourselves.
Us.
I think I would,
Who would play?
like, do we have to know like the names of younger actors that would
Be anybody. Nick Cage. Don't kill him.
Oh, anybody.
Did you say Nicolas Cage?
Oh yeah, Jake Gyllenhaal would be great.
Jake Gyllenhaal.
He's great. Yeah,
Can
he's
Nick
great.
Cage please play you?
Nick Cage can
Nick
do anything
Cage.
he wants.
That would
Awesome.
This is a hard question.
Yeah, this is a hard question. Do
I
you guys
would-
have any suggestions? Nicholas,
All right.
I feel like, you know, like, I would probably recap, like, if I was gonna do the casting, like, the review, I could choose, like, anyone, like, you can go with, like, an Angelina Jolie type
That's
deal.
what I
with
just
that.
said, Angelina
Yeah,
Jolie.
all right, there you go, and that's the vibes. there.
I'm casting Angelina Jolie.
I know
She
those
is
vibes.
invited.
And if I was casting, like, you, I don't know, it was like, I don't know, maybe like, I mean, probably, if I was producing it, I'd probably choose, like, if I had anyone, I'd be like, well, let's get Zendaya in here.
Yeah.
The show's gonna be great.
Zendaya.
I know the show's gonna
So
be
we have
great.
Nick Cage.
Zendaya and Angelina Jolie sign each other up.
Jake Gyllenhaal.
Oh,
Jake
My bad.
I was thinking Jared.
What?
Jared Leto.
Jared
Jared
Leto.
Leto.
Yes.
Jake-
I-
Thank you.
You know what, no, I don't agree with you there.
Hi, my question's for all three of you then. What's the best part about playing a grounder?
Having your 2 feet on the ground.
The physicality, I think. It's very grounding.
No, I think it's just better to have, like, the grounders, like, I like pointy weapons more than I like loud weapons, so, like, that's the best thing. You get to use the pointy weapons rather than the
Totally. There was something about like, when they were like, okay, Echo, like, now she uses a bow staff. Do you know how to use a bow staff? I'm like, no. Like, I don't know how to use it, because they were like, do you know how to use a bow and arrow? And I was like, no. Do you know how to use a sword? No. Do you know how to use a bow staff? I was like, no.
Have you ever heard a story about art, like sword fighting?
No.
That's a good.
That is a good story.
So, we had the sword fight, and like, I mean, that's like basically like our first episode work.
Yeah, yeah,
Like, we met,
yeah.
and I was like, apparently I was sword fighting. And I was like, how are you sword fighting? And she was like,
Not good.
I was like, not good, like, okay. And she was like, I have never.
And I didn't know that you were like on a pirate show before. And you're like, well, I was like, help.
Yeah, so we went, you bought 2, like,
Nerf.
soft Nerf swords.
I bought 2 Nerf swords because I was like, this is the same thing.
And then we went to, what was that park?
Crab Park.
I thought it was like a crack park, because there's people like shooting heroin everywhere. And, like,
I picked the best spots, you know?
I remember,
Downtown Vancouver.
yeah, it's like that. But all I remember is, like, first off, she like picked me up in like 3 seconds, and I was like,
Thank you.
you're an athlete, and we're gonna be fine. And like, I was like, don't worry about hurting me, just, I'll try, I won't hurt you. And I was like, the worst thing we could do is probably we could break each other's fingers if we snap them with the fake swords. And then, the only thing I remember about that is, I was like, what do you do when you see, like, what do you think you should do when you see a dude abusing a woman? And you were like, have you ever seen that? And I was like, there's a guy doing it right behind you.
And I was like, welcome to Vancouver. I'm so happy we're spending this quality time together. Thank you. But I do remember when we get back to the sword fight, which is just on screen, you're so strong and you were holding, so like basically like you could just hold a sword. And I was kind of like, and like my hands started like hurting because I was just trying to get you to move. I was like, if I just come at him with full force, I was like, boom, and you're just like, ding. Okay, well.
Yeah, well, so what it was she had the sword beat, right, in the thing that's not supposed to be injured, and it's like what we were trying to do is we were trying to like make it look like she was overpowering me, so the director was like, no, don't let it go, like hold it, and she's gonna take it out of your hand.
Oh yeah, and I couldn't do it.
And I was like, you know, like when directors give you like direction, like that's not gonna work. And I was like, I have to act. I was like, I have to act here.
Yeah, you have to help me a little bit. No.
But I have to listen to the director.
The best thing about being a grounder was using these weapons. to get back to the question, and because when they gave me a gun in the last like few seasons, I remember like holding a gun and like as Echo, it felt like really weird. I was like, I don't like this. There's something just raw and like primal and cool about like swords and archery, and I just loved that part of being a grounder. There was just something really like, I don't know, cool about it. Yeah.
Thank you.
Hey guys, I got a question that more so applies to Tasya and Luisa, but Zach, if it applies to you too, feel free to answer. So I've never left the United States, and I just got my passport like a month ago, and I'm actually going to Toronto with my bachelor party. So I'm just wondering if you guys have any spots that like I can't miss, like must go to, etc.
You should definitely go to the parlor.
Tell them why.
Because I'm one of the partners in this restaurant that we opened in Vancouver, which didn't you and Eliza like meet there or something?
Yeah, like that's where we like first met to like, you know, I was like, I'm apparently dragging you around tied up.
And this is before I knew them, and I wasn't even on the show yet. And so like when we all started working together, they were like, we've actually, I think, been to your restaurant. And I was like, no way! And we opened one in Toronto, so let me know and I'll set you up.
Cool. I'll give an honest review too.
Pardon me?
I'll give an honest review.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, no bonus points for you.
When's your bachelor party?
June. It's Father's Day weekend. We're going that Thursday and Monday.
Father's Day weekend.
Yeah.
I'm going to Toronto tomorrow.
Oh, sweet.
Wow.
Yeah, not quite that soon for me.
Any live music you can find.
Yes,
Just
that's
find the
always
live
nice.
music.
Cool. All right, thank you guys.
Thank you.
Lorna.
Hi. I have two questions, one from me and then one from a friend.
Okay.
So my first question is, if you could be on any cancelled like TV show, which one would it be?
Any canceled TV show?
Yeah.
True Blood.
Woo! Yeah. That was a great show. It really was.
I mean,
Great show.
I've been on a lot of games.
What about shows that just ended on their own but have ended? Does that count?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I guess, I really, like, I love The Sopranos, and I wouldn't, you know, I don't know if that's a canceled TV show.
No, it's just ended.
Yeah. But yeah, I would
Thank
love,
you, Joe.
I'd love to play, you know, one of those guys.
One of those guys.
guys.
Toss, I can see with your glasses, you would totally go on. You look like Drea De Matteo, like you could be in The Sopranos.
Literally, people say that more frequently than I know why. Adriana. I would love to be on The Sopranos. I also would love to be on Peaky Blinders. I really love that show. And yeah.
I watched Peaky Blinders and I was like, I think that's the Charles Nate voice this guy's doing.
The correct answer is Lost, but thank you for asking.
I was going to say Lost, too.
The correct answer is Lost.
Because Lost was actually the first show that ever like trapped me in it, and it's like I watched The Sopranos until later, but like I got trapped in their like writing thing.
Some of us are still trapped.
Yeah.
I was about to say.
I had to like cold turkey off that show and just be like, all right.
Gabagool, with the gabagool, big C, right?
Yeah, we got cool.
Yeah. Right.
These guys are weird.
And the next question is, if you could make up a word, what would it be and mean?
You could make up a word, what would it be and mean?
Make up a word, like in trick or like English or what? Any word?
Any word.
I've never thought about that in my life.
If you listen to me speak long enough, I will make up something. I don't think it will remain.
I can imagine something yesterday like at the park.
Yes. Weird.
Yes, if you wait long enough, he will stop speaking any sensible language.
Somebody say you live in the dome.
Conageddon was such a cool language though, like I loved when we got to speak that, you know. And I remember, do you remember like that, I don't know if you were in this, some people just don't vibe with trig. Like Richard had a really hard time with it.
I heard about it.
Yeah.
I heard about it.
It's not easy.
It's not easy, but it's fun.
I was very upset.
He was very upset.
That was his moment.
That was his moment.
I'll never forget
The shot was that like Richard had to like, we had to walk by each other and he was supposed to be like, and he was supposed to say something to me as I walked by him, and every time we would get close, he would just go, ah. And then they'd be like, cut, back to lines, and he'd go back. And then he'd like look at me and he would just be like, okay, this is the one. And he'd like walk towards me and he'd be like, and I was just like, it's okay. And we did it like 25 times. And I was just like, and he felt so defeated. I was like, oh, cute angel, it's fine. It's hard. It's not easy.
Yeah, I remember my first day of trig. I mean, trig is hard, and it's a made-up language, and it means something. And I would throw her off during our scenes because they would always, for some reason, do my coverage first of the close-up of like me the trig. And once you're done, kind of like saying your trig, it's such a you know, you're so anxious because it's so hard that like they turned around and I just was like, you know, she'd been giving me the trick on her side, and I was like
it's like he forgot his lines, so he would just be look at me and being like, boogie biggie. And I would like look at him, and the camera's like filming my reaction, and I'm looking at him like, are you serious? That's what you're giving me? And you're like, biggie biggie boo boo. And I'm like, I hate you. You're so. And it was supposed to be like war tactics, so I'm looking at him being like, honest dig on kan sabada, and you're like, beep beep boo boo.
True story, 100%.
Thank you.
So they just like, so they're, you know, they don't like, if they're on coverage, like, so they were just on the back of my head, like on her face. And so like, and it could have been like lunch in between, so like, you know, because like you have to drill your trig like right up to the moment you do it.
Yeah.
Also, I kind of wanted to just see what you do.
It would have been good in the bloopers, that's what she's saying.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Of me, just like one vein.
Try not to.
I had one of those, I really thought you were going to have a heart attack. Uh-oh.
I just remember seeing your face, you were like breaking, you were like, so like coming up, and I was just like,
You're on horses.
Yeah, they're on horses.
So rude.
They were shooting like this, and I was just like,
This sounds like an utter work nightmare.
it was.
and it was raining, and there's like a whole army, and
Yeah.
there's like horses trying to.
And Bob and Ian were like kneeling in the mud.
Is that the day with the bear?
Yeah.
There's the bear,
That was
Yeah,
the
Liza.
bear. Yeah.
You guys know what happened? Eliza was filming and everyone just starts looking at her and they're like, don't move, there's a bear behind her. When she was filming out in the quarry, right?
Yeah, in the
What
quarry.
sucks too is so it's when we go to walk into that into the thing, and normally they always like thrown swords like a machete, and like normally I would just always have the metal machete on me because I'd be like, yo, what's here? But just before that, I stuck it in the ground because like we're going to have a peaceful talk, and like
There's no
well,
machete.
like we're really far away from the crew. Like it was bad. Like I was like, they might know that. I was like, bears kill people.
Have you seen Cocaine Bear? They certainly do.
It's a true story.
It's an incredible movie. Maybe have a gummy first. Okay, next question.
Hi. So I want to ask, what is your favorite stunt to film and what is your favorite scene to film?
I think my favorite stunt was the fight in Becca's house that I mentioned before, because it was the first really big challenging fight that I had on the show. Probably was the biggest one. And the guy I was working with, like, he was a pretty tall guy and he was strong. He could throw me around, and I basically just get mostly beat up the whole time and try to get away. But it was super fun.
So you like that kind of stuff?
I have like no comments. It's a family event.
Zach McGowan, shut it.
Do you remember when we had to do the hallucination stuff? Like when, like we had to tie Murphy and Bellamy
Oh, yeah.
in Sanctum.
Yeah,
That required like some stunt training. That was crazy.
Well, I had to chase down Richard with the knife, and I had to run down this huge flight of stairs, and I was like, if I bail, I'm gonna go face first into these steps, and like my nose will be going and everything. But then
I ended up, like, he's on the ground and I'm above him with a knife, stabbing him, and for the camera angle, they were like, aim for his eye.
What?
Yeah, that was my reaction. And Richard was like, no, it'll be fine, don't worry, I trust you. I'm like, I don't trust you.
That was a good instinct, don't even.
No.
No, yeah.
So I just, you know, I only, like, went down as far as I was able to, like, because I was like, I am not going to be responsible for making you a one-eyed pirate.
For me.
You can tell it.
Different story. I mean, was this before or after Marie got stabbed in the eye?
After.
When did she get
Remember when she got stabbed in the eye?
This wasn't from the show, there was an accident on set with Marie.
Yeah, it was really awful. Like, she's really lucky. Like,
Yeah.
she almost, yeah.
There was a lot of stunts on our show. A lot.
Yeah.
It wasn't rainbows and kittens.
No rainbows and kittens.
No rainbows.
And they would just give you a weapon and be like, okay, here's your knife, like, do some stuff with
Do you know how to use a bow staff? No.
What are your favorite stunts?
I actually liked our fight scene from that season, like quite a bit, because she had this like slide on her knees into like the point. And you're like, oh.
Yeah, right.
That was a good moment, but I also like, there was like another moment with the bow staff where I think it was in Sanctum, and they woke me up at 4 in the morning. I was sitting like just waiting in the cast chairs at like 3 in the morning, 4 in the morning, and I'm supposed to set somebody on fire. No pressure. So it's like 4 in the morning, and they're like, no, wake up. They're like, you're up. And I'm like, oh, perfect. You know? But we had a great stunt team, and so I came in with like the bow staff, and then our stunt coordinator got lit on fire, which was insane too. Not Marshall. Yeah.
Nice.
Good question, thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, you want me?
No.
All right. Honestly, I mean, obviously, I got to do a lot of great stunts and all really cool. But the one I really wanted to do, we actually never shot, and they changed it, and that was my favorite one. And also, one of the reasons, like one of the things Jason told me I was going to do before I started on the show. But it was like a really high cliff jump, a really high cliff dive, and I love cliff diving. And I was like, it'd be sweet. He was like, you're gonna do it with the drone, and going into the water with you. And he's like, can you hold your breath? I was like, I'm a spirit person, dude. Like, I hold my breath for a long time. And he was like, how long? It's like, longer than you're gonna let it run, like to the commercial. And so it was like the awesomest thing, and I was so excited. And then Warner Brothers was like, we cannot do this. This is too dangerous. Everyone's gonna die. And I was like, and so I just went to the place and did it without them. Because I wanted to do it with some clip and music.
Nice.
It was great.
On brand for you, on brand.
Very on
I
brand.
really liked the jumping.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi. Hi. There's been some talk of weapons, pointy, pew, bow staff. I was just wondering if you were all actually grounders as yourselves, what would your signature weapons of choice be?
Ooh, that's a good question.
I would like a blowgun.
Ooh,
A blowgun.
What's
Yeah.
that?
Blowguns are long reels where they put like
Yeah, in the dark.
yeah, they're silent and they're very accurate. I actually have one in my house. No, but I bought it in Indonesia once I got it. They're really cool weapons, and like you would be so surprised how.
But can they go with like how far
Very
can they
far,
travel?
much farther than you would expect. The one I have, I mean, like you see that water over there, like that water container in the back. I'll hit that water. I'll hit that every time with this blowgun.
When the zombie apocalypse hits, go to his house. His weapons, cows, all of it.
No cows yet.
Some goats, but I did go over there, and there's like a deer thing, and I was like, oh, is that to scare away like the fox? And you're like, no, that's the target. And I was like, the target? Like that's his target practice. But I guess your blow gun and what else?
Arrow.
Yeah, like bow and arrows. Yeah. I wanted to do the bow and arrow. I was like, let's do this.
Yeah, but my bow is, kind of heavy.
I can't do it.
Well,
Anyways. We'll try. I thought you were gonna say sword.
Sword. Well, I figured I just was trying to because everyone here is talking about swords. I just went with like something else cool, like woven.
I feel like I would use a bow and arrow, probably. Yeah.
I think a knife, but well, first off, I really haven't had much weapons training. But also I like to cook, so I think I might be comfortable with it. There you go. Yeah, that's
All
right.
right, you cook, that's nice.
Yeah.
It's a weapon and a tool.
Yeah, that's right.
That's what I tell my kids.
Depending how crazy the world gets, we'll just bunker.
Make a sweet meal.
Yeah. Blood Reina, the people who make the net.
Thank you, good question.
Hello, I'm Destiny.
Hey, Destiny.
Alright, there's been a lot of good questions, so I feel like mine isn't as good, but pretend you've never seen the show and you weren't the cast. If you were to watch the show in its entirety, would you like your character, and would you see them as a hero or a villain?
Ooh, that's a good question.
You trying to say that it was a good question?
Excellent question.
I don't know, I like weapons questions.
I mean,
Dark group.
yeah. I think, listen, no surprise, but I think he would mostly be, I guess, he's just a man, so I don't look at him.
He's just a man.
Like, I've kind of said it many times, like, I think he was pretty solid except for the microwave, and he was really mean to her.
I think I'd like Amore, because I think they did a good job right off the bat of rounding her out in that first episode, where there was something to latch onto as an audience member. So I think I would. It's so hard. That's hard to unbias myself. But I would say yes.
Do you guys feel that like The 100 did a good job of kind of challenging our relationship to heroes and villains?
Yes.
Because I feel like a lot of characters did a lot of curvy moves, you know?
That's why I say it depends on the season.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, you're like, I'm so confused.
A lot of gray areas. which is
Yeah,
cool.
which was really interesting, right? Like, when, yes.
And I actually have a question for the audience.
Ooh.
Is there something I'm missing? Like, did he do something else that was really messed up?
Rowan?
Yeah. Because I feel like he put the dude in the microwave. That was messed up.
Yes.
I mean, like, my family was like, you know, whatever. I'm more Jewish, and like my family was burned in ovens. So, you know, I'm like, that is not cool. Don't put people in ovens. Like, you know, don't do that. Like,
Hey, I didn't even think of that part.
you know, like, I was like, that's not cool. Don't do that. That's not cool. You know, and then the idea of, and then I was just, but I was trying to think, is there anything else he did that's not cool?
I don't think so. I think Rowan, like, has been pretty, I mean, he had mommy issues probably.
Yeah,
He
sure.
doesn't. He doesn't.
But I feel like Echo and Rowan got redemptive arcs. Not that they needed redemption, but I feel like they got a lot of good character development.
Totally.
And Amori, to me, didn't need redemption. There was more consistency and growth. You know, that's just outside perspective.
I mean, you put him in the oven, but I made that possible.
Yeah, I know.
So really, who put him in the oven?
I mean, I was there and I didn't see it.
Right.
You know, and like, to me, that means you're a part of something. Like, because if like you're sitting somewhere and someone's just like beating someone up and you don't, like, you're like, yo, stop beating this person up. And like, you're kind of doing it with them.
It's kind of like when three people are responsible for pulling a lever and only one person gets blamed. Funny how that works. No one on that show.
Not on our show.
Excellent question. Thank you.
Hi, first I want to say I'm a big fan of Brenda Strong, so I think it's super cool that you got to work with her. Yeah, she's amazing. Okay, I wanted to ask who on the show was the best at trig, either out of you three or the entire show? essentially.
What was the dude's name who invented trade again?
He's definitely.
David J. Peterson.
That guy's the best at trade.
Alicia was pretty good. Alicia was pretty good at trig, I think. Lexa.
Wait, how about out of you three?
Oh, at us three?
Yeah.
I mean, when the camera's on you or not.
I sit on Conageddon. Pumas now stay on a as get ahead play.
He would send you those files?
Yeah. With
Tandem, come, hi hefa, Rome. Kasir.
So yeah, we would get like these little clips. And they would be like, I would be like, this is gold, and I would play them in the car, just like listen to them and, you know, work them into speech. But I don't really know who's the best. When you were actually speaking it, you were really good.
Yeah, I mean, but you were really good at it too. Like, I mean, honestly, it's not easy to speak in a language that is like, you know, that's not part of yours. It's something you have to get used to as an actor. Because, like, anytime you get cast, they'll probably cast you in something, and then, like, it's not just that. Like, I mean, I've spoken a lot of different language. I don't speak on camera, and like, it's anytime you're speaking a language that's not yours.
Did they make you memorize that monologue for the audition?
Or
Did they make you memorize that monologue? So if
I
you
didn't
auditioned
audition.
for a grounder, you had to memorize a monologue in...
You audition.
Yeah.
My audition involved Mike Tyson.
What?
Yeah. And
So did mine.
So, me and Bob were, I got really lucky on this, and I was friends with Bob before, and like, I was at Comic-Con San Diego, and like, turns out that Mike Tyson's a big Charles Payne fan of my sales, and so like, I was like having a great time with Mike Tyson, and Bob was there, and I cut to him, like Jason met me. While Jason met me, I was giving Mike Tyson a noogie.
That was your audition.
That was your audition.
And he was like, "You're in." He was like, "Would you like? I have a character for you." And I was like,
You're like, I'm busy.
No, it wasn't like I wasn't over. Like we were just messing around. Like me and him were just like having fun, like you know, being dudes. Like I was like, "You're Mike." So yeah.
So you didn't memorize the grounder?
I did.
That thinned out the crowd of Vancouver pretty thoroughly, because anyone who had trouble with it, it was just like, okay, no, and we probably won't ask you to read for another grounder either.
Lisa, my memory is, it's a long time ago, but did you speak a lot of trig on the show?
I spoke a decent amount here and there, especially when we were running around stealing from people and stuff.
Right. Do you think there's a different dialect for different nations and different parts of grounders?
I bet there was, I mean, I don't think it was established one way or the other, but I bet there were at least different words for things, like slang, different slang,
Right.
at the very least.
Okay.
But I mean, the fact that this language came about, it would probably have, there probably would have been a decent amount of shifting as you went
I mean,
around.
Flow Crew for sure probably had their own dialect. 'Cause
Right.
They were in the middle of the ocean.
Right, they were the hippies.
They were the hippies.
Can you speak trig with a Boston accent? Just curious.
I love a challenge.
I'm sure we probably could, but you'd have to give us some trick.
Yeah, I don't have any right now.
Actors require moments of prep.
Oh, I see, okay, never mind.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
So mine's kind of a three-parter. First off, you segued me perfectly because there's more behind this than just being a fangirl, but I actually legally changed my last name to Conageddon. After I got divorced, I didn't want my name back because I was raised by wolves. I see the forest for the trees with that relationship, so I chose the word forest. And so yeah, I'm the only Trigetta in the world. So every time somebody says the word Trigetta, I'm like, and I actually run the Trigetta Song Facebook group. So just my little fangirl disclosure, but I have two questions. First one's really probably more for you, Lisa. This is questions that would bug me. Is in season 4, when you guys go to Becca's Island, you made a comment that, and I'm sorry to say the word, but no Frick Drano were allowed past those posts. Why was that? Like, why would Becca or Allie care?
That would have been one of the many story threads on the show that they were planting for. and then for whatever reason, things pivoted. I think there were plans to maybe tell some more stories around that, but I wasn't, because we didn't get to be in the writer's room and hear all the secrets, I couldn't tell you for sure what that meant. It'll remain a mystery forever.
But that's the word I called you in the microwave.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
And then my next question is, because you hear a lot of people criticize of how the grander culture developed so quickly 97 years ago. I like to ask you guys to conversely argue how it would. How do you think why the grander culture developed into the way it would? And I do have a theory that Shade had a huge part in making it like Mad Max, more than like Calliope Cardigan. So like to kind of argue how it would happen, because if you just think about like the last 100 years in our world, it's like night and day different, with all the technology we've had.
Yeah.
So if you take away all that technology, how quickly it can develop. So I'm just curious to think of what you guys think of why the grounder culture developed the way it did and how it could have happened that rapidly.
I mean, what do you?
Like in terms of like the language and all of like the
Language, or just
clans
like,
and everything,
how did things get so, like, yeah.
organized.
I think with a huge amount of pressure on a group of people, it dissolves what was pretty darn fast.
Like Walking Dead. Like
And
people
also
usually go to-
rebuilds. Like when I can imagine like if you're in like a high stakes situation where the planet is in an apocalyptic era, like the stakes to survive become so heightened that like language, like you're communicating, you're like, okay, I can't speak Spanish and we're gonna like evolve, or like you find you have to adjust really fast.
Yeah, there was essentially Armageddon that occurred, right? Like, and that is probably the greatest factor as to how.
The ingredient, yeah.
Yeah, that I mean, there was no communication lanes, right? There was, like,
When systems of power disappear, you have to really quick create a new system. Like, for example, the conclave, that would have come out of, we can't make a decision. We literally don't know how to do this, so who's got a good idea? Okay, this is what we're gonna do. Like, at some point, a decision has to be made.
And not everyone might be happy with that decision, but it might just be that decision is what is happening right now, because.
well, I mean, I actually, I kind of like the conclave. I was like, I wish.
The conclave was wild.
I know, but I was like, I think this is a preferable way to figure this out. And like, everyone killing each other, that's awful.
It's
but I also thought we should just like talk it out. I mean, but rather than everyone kill each other, that just seems awful.
Yes.
That seems like the
There's
worst
an
option.
argument to be made there.
Yes.
No, but like to me, I just felt like it was sucky like I think that's what happened. Like they were in a place where they knew that like it's either everyone or like a few people, and at least we can find a way forward and there'll be something left.
That's true.
Right? Because otherwise then there's nothing left.
That's true. It's like, each side sends out a person to duel it out, and you all accept the outcome.
It's like a thumb wrestle.
Yeah, I would rather see the leaders in the world fight than the normal people. Like,
Yeah, then they might.
Personally,
Yeah.
I would be like, that would be my preferred way. Like, I would not like to see people who hate each other all fighting. I would rather maybe see the two people who rolled them up, who rise them up, maybe talk that out.
You argued this really well. I'm like totally come around.
Guys, it's
Great
starting.
question. Thank you.
Hi.
Hi.
So I was going to ask a question, but then I realized it's a bit of a Conageddon tradition. Tasya, if you wouldn't mind, can you give us a Conageddon? You don't have to.
You don't even need the mic.
I don't need the mic.
No, you maybe shouldn't. Yeah, you're right, I shouldn't. Okay, can I wrap up with it?
Yeah.
So we'll wrap.
Yeah, we'll wrap with your yell. Yes, your rebel yell.
I'm not gonna yell.
Okay.
How are you doing? One of the things I've noticed, especially like, grounders and Sky Crew, there was change that needed to be made. Sky Crew came down wanting to force their rifle upon the ground and they wouldn't work. Grounders were there the whole time and they had to adapt to where the world was changing. If they wanted to stay the way they were, it wouldn't have worked out. Prime Five wiped them all out, so they had to adapt. And so for your characters, I know Roman, you were only there for 2 seasons, and you guys were there for the whole time. Like, what are a change that you saw in your characters? Like, hey, like kind of reflecting more like back to you. Like, man, I need to, some things I need to, work on myself on. Just seeing how your characters played out.
For me, I think seeing how Amori embraced her own potential, because she, whenever she had an open door where she could better herself, and it came from a very survival place initially, but then I think as she started to have a clan around her and people that she trusted, she realized, well, wait a minute, I can affect things, I can make choices, I can even potentially lead when the moment calls for it. And therefore I need the skills to be able to back up these actions. And I mean, the fact that she was interested in tech, but she was able to do as much with it as what she was exposed to until she found people who were much smarter than her, and she was able to grow that level. It made me think about myself, and because we always have ideas of what we can accomplish, where the ceiling lies, right? And you can say the world puts them on us, but we put them on ourselves too. We take them on, we all do to some degree. So it was really cool. Like, actually, I don't know if I really thought about this before this question, but I've been on my own journey as far as raising that ceiling for myself and seeing the kind of leadership I can do in life, or the kind of projects I might want to make, or the creative paths I might want to take. And I think Amori did a very similar thing. So that's really cool. Thank you. I just grew. Growing.
I don't know, I mean, I feel like he actually went through a lot of change in the time, like he went from being like essentially someone who's been thrown out of his family and culture, which, I would imagine would be really tough, to someone who was then embraced as their leader, which also would be tough. And so I think, while his situation changed, like, I tried to play him as like being steady through different situations and not like trying to like essentially not change too much. And then all of a sudden I felt like he was being changing a lot. Like all of a sudden, I remember like when I called you free trainer, I was like, so what? All of a sudden he just like is prejudice or something? Like,
You didn't know any better.
yeah.
He was Mexican.
Yeah. To me, like, that's what I didn't feel like. You know what I mean? So, like, yeah, I don't know.
I mean, like with Echo, it's funny because I feel like there was like an inversion. Like I feel like Echo, like I felt like what I needed to borrow or learn from her was this like insane resilience and determination to get through. And there's so many times I was reading the scripts, I'm like, she hasn't given up yet? I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, go girl, good for you, So she was just like always fighting and getting like just inching through life, at the very edge of survival all the time. And so I borrowed that from her. I think her journey, what she learned was like about love and family and trust. And I thought that was really cool. Yeah. Thank you.
I have a question about a scene in season 7. It's when it was Echo being affected by the red stem toxin, and she's seeing Roman there. How did you film that? It seems like you were, I guess I'm misremembering, like semi-transparent. Were you in the shot, or were you like pasted in?
Oh, yeah, I was there.
I was so excited.
Yeah. I got a call just straight up from Jason, being like, "You think your costume still fits?" And I was like, I mean, yeah.
That's what he said?
Yeah.
He wasn't like, are you available?
He was like, "You think your costume still fits?" I was like, "Of course."
And then he's like, okay, bye.
And then he was like, you think you did you like come up here and like get on a plane, come up here if I send you an offer? And I was like, yeah, when you need me. He was like, tomorrow.
You came in so fast, and it wasn't even enough time. I was like, rats, you know?
Yeah.
Like, you were in and out. It was very fast.
Yeah.
But he was actually, like, on set. It was amazing.
Yeah, it was really good. And actually at the time, Jason was like, I may need you to stay. I don't know. And I was like,
Because I kept on telling him, I'm like, write him back into the show.
I would like to know how he got to that planet. Tell me more.
well, I mean, I think that was clearly in the show. It was clearly like, you know,
My
she was
host.
seeing,
Yeah.
seeing me. Yeah, but I wasn't. Yeah, I wasn't.
Joe was
So-
being sarcastic.
Yes. Tone is hard at the end of the con. You know,
It
tone
is,
is
it
hard.
is.
Thank you. Thank you.
Hi, how often do you get recognized in everyday life by people, and how do you feel when they come talk to you?
Oh, almost never.
Almost never?
Never ever. If they do, they don't say anything. No one. Like very rarely. Very rarely. There was one time where my husband and I were trying to get into a rooftop pool bar in Nashville, and everyone there who worked at the hotel said, well, you have to be staying at the hotel, but go try, because it was pretty nice. They're like, go try and see if you can get in. So we were talking to this guy. He's like, you know what? Yeah, we're almost closing. Just come in. Why not? And as we're entering in, he says, man, you look, it's so funny. You look so much like this character on this sci-fi show. I was like, oh yeah. Is it The 100? He said, yeah, you look just like this girl. I was like, oh. Yeah, I said, Amori? He's like, yeah, just like her. And then I had a little Hollywood moment and I like took off my sunglasses. and he was like, yeah, you look just like her.
I never know what to say when someone's like, you look like this, because like when we started filming Shoresy in Ontario, there was this like 19-year-old kid who was hired as like one of the hockey players on the show, and he was just like, same thing, you look so much like this actress Tasya Tellis, and I was like, that's cute. And then I'd like look across like the party, and he'd be standing there with a drink, and he was just like hard, like just staring at me. And I was like, what's happening? And then he came up to me again, and he's like, no, seriously, you like really look like Tasya Tellis. And I remember like looking at him, and I was like, is he being serious? And I was like, I don't know what to do. And I was like, I'm number 2 on the call sheet. I'm like, you're on the television show. You've read the script, right? Like, you're working on the show with us. And then so finally, like, I was like, I am Tasya. And then he was like, oh my gosh. I could see him on the phone, like, showing people being like, that's Echo. I was like, what is going on? But yeah, like I don't really like, I always feel like a little awkward.
Yeah. Zach, you must get recognized from a million things.
When Zach gets recognized, it's the best. Like the reactions are awesome.
What's the most common though?
I don't even bother asking anymore because then like we have to go through like a litany of things. So generally speaking, yeah, like anywhere I go, everywhere I go, people are, you know.
Would you say Black Sails or the 100 More?
You know, it's hard for me.
Yeah.
Because then I would have to ask them what show.
Right.
And sometimes I do, but most of the time they're like, oh, I love your show. And I'm like, thank you.
You don't say which one. There's like 17 of them. Yeah.
I'm like, thank you. And they're like,
Do you ever get mistaken for somebody else?
Like Nicolas Cage or...
Yeah.
Short version.
No, weirdly, no, I mean, no, it's just like, people are like...
They're like, I love you on the Titanic. And you're like, oh, thanks.
Yes, I mean, it's funny, I do get a lot of like people yelling out a character name, like on the street, like it'll be like, Jody, Dawn, Josie, you know, the Superior, the Russian, like, you know, and I just get like people just like yell, like I'll be like walking and people just like are yelling like the names of characters, and it's kind of cool. Like I consider it cool because like, you know, I travel a lot to work, so it's cool to like kind of meet new people and places.
Dragon Con was really fun with you.
Yeah, but I will tell you this: if you see an actor in public and you aren't sure it's them, and you like are gonna cross-reference your phone to see if it's them, they already know. And what you're doing. Like, because like people know when you're staring at them and when you're.
And go say hi.
Just go say
Go
hi.
say hi.
Yo, what's up?
Yeah.
Like, actually, Remy, you did a great job when you did it, right? Like, you were like, Captain Charles Van! And I was like, yeah, what's up, bro? Like, right?
I actually met Kane from the 100, who's Henry, in Hawaii in the grocery store, and they came and said hi and took a picture with him and everything.
Oh,
I was
he
very excited
music?
about that.
Yeah, nice.
Desmond from Lost.
Thank you.
Of course it's Desmond, hello.
I just had to say it before your show.
Did you know that?
I've heard of it vaguely.
Hello. Alright, so when you guys were on the set, because I know chemistry is like super important for actors to bounce off each other and almost feel like natural toward one another, who was that person for you?
Who was the person to
Be like natural chemistry. Like the second you were in a scene with them, it just felt natural.
I didn't have a single person that wasn't the case. I felt like everyone. I mean, one thing they really did a good job was they cast a lot of really good actors and like available people, right? Like not all actors will be available and like, you know, ready to talk and ready to work on lines and, you know, try to be there for each other and whatnot. And I just felt that was like the case with kind of everyone.
Everyone, yeah.
It was pretty effortless.
Everyone was pretty open to working together. Because yeah, you don't often get that on set. Like sometimes people are very close, so they'll show up. They don't, you know, want to engage, and you're like, okay. But on our show, that wasn't the case at all. Yeah.
Thank you. Let's thank our favorite 3 grounders for grounding.
Oh yeah. Okay, Luisa. Luisa's gonna do it with me.
Oh, sorry.
This might wake up the baby's already awake. Okay. Okay, but this. I know Amori would not be cool with this, but she's gonna humor it. All right, do it. We became friends. Yeah, that's free for you. Okay, 1, 2, 3. God!